confused as his teammates were celebrating their World Championship crown. GENG are only the second org after SK Telecom T1 to ever defend a world title. SKT did it twice. GENG begin their first ever title defense today.
Well, Team Vitality will try to put their Worlds machine off to a slow start here. See if maybe they can slow that roll a little bit. We're into Champion Select, and it's Sion, Irelia, and Kindred banned out by GENG, as Vitality will ban out Xayah and Aatrox.
Kindred was the best champion for Kikis back in the EU LCS. That's why they take it away. Vitality, they love to be on red side. They're built around counter-picking for Kikis so he gets a superior jungle matchup, and then trying to get a winning bot lane setup for Attila and Jackdaw. If they get that, they can make a lot of plays in the early game.
The Aatrox spanned away. Urgot, the first pick that comes out here, happy to give up the Kai'Sa. Roller has traditionally been on very much laning dominant AD carries. GENG love to counter-pick the 2v2. They got a perfect chance here, and they're going to begin with Core JJ's ultimate comfort in the Tahm Kench.
Well, Team Vitality decide they want to start off with Kai'Sa and Alistar together. Kai'Sa, one of those champions that we normally think about scaling. We think about her wanting to let the game go on for a little bit, but on a team like Vitality that normally wants to draft a strong bottom lane for their duo, it might not be the same thing they normally play for, as they will be going up against the Ashe along with the TK.
And it's only the second Ashe of Worlds, if you include the play-in stage, heavily deprioritized, but ultimate comfort for Ruler. He's already played 16 games of Ashe. People have dropped this pick. GENG going to stick with it. Looks like they're setting up for 1-3-1 from their 3 picks.
Yeah.
As we look on the side of Vitality, they've already got their top lane.
It's a bit different from Vitality, as you highlighted already, Captain Flowers, with the more scaling bottom lane. I actually thought if we were going to see innovative picks coming out of Vitality, it would mainly be from Jack Troll, try and get like a superior winning bot lane. But in this case here, they are building a lot for team fights, which is not how they won games in EU.
And I also want to challenge the idea of GENG just being the shield at all times, because I think that is conditional on Ambition being in there, the world champion from last year. Haru's best champion so far this season is the Camille. In the LCK, Camille doesn't get the work done and gets outscaled. He's 4-0 on the pick, and they might actually pack a punch with a second-round jungle pick.
And that's why I think starting Haru here is just such a smart play from GENG, because Ambition is a little bit too slow in a lot of his games.
And a lot of his champions are nerfed at the moment.
It's also very true. So like a jungler like Kikis would love to deal with Ambition, but Haru can actually match the early game aggression that we will most likely see. Notice how Vitality have saved the jungle pick. It's something they like to do again to try and get a last pick for them. There's actually a legit chance we're going to get a blind pick mid into then a last pick jungle for Kikis.
Be risky to go for the old Jisuke favorite of the Rise, because Malzahar and Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz is banned.
We get Nocturne.
The Rise still going to be available. Yeah, he goes for the jungle pick. First Nocturne of group stage here. Looking to just assassinate Ashe. Let's go on the side of GENG. Going to need to see a mid laner soon.
But of course, it is difficult to assassinate a target that does have a hungry Tahm Kench, always waiting around to devour her to safety. We'll see the Gragas locked in on the side of GENG here with one more pick to go for that mid lane. Syndra, you guys already mentioned how blind pick Syndra would be something we would see a lot throughout the course of the tournament, and GENG goes for it here.
LeBlanc is left open, however. That's normally the ban we see when teams want to blind pick Syndra. It is something Jisuke can play. He has a lot of setup with Ornn ulti and Nocturne ults as well to try and go for more kills once we get a bit later into the game.
And backline access and just access to an immobile threat is there in spades for Vitality. We see Alistar, Ornn, the Nocturne all going to get done. This is going to be a mid lane echo on the side of Vitality.
So this is actually one of the picks that he brought out as one of his comfort picks when he wanted to play, especially in Spring Split, this very split push heavy style. Echo is one of the best mages in a side lane because he's so annoying due to his mobility and upfront burst damage he can deal in a 1v1. It is very much a Jisuke pick, but not something we've seen in a long time.
It's an old pick into the Syndra because you can ult through the Syndra ult to get your health back, and you can say categorically, like Deficio's alluding to, when you hit the side lane, Syndra's there very much reluctantly. She wants to be in mid lane, access to blue buff and wave clearing, whereas in a long lane, Echo's chase pressure makes him really annoying to face.
And I like the fact that they went for the comfort. I like the fact that they went for the throwback, something unusual, something to change things up a little bit going up against a team the caliber of GENG. Don't play what's expected. Don't play what they think is probably going to be the best thing against them. Play your game, We already saw Europe pick up a win with it earlier. We already saw them take down a Korean team by playing their game earlier. Now Vitality wants to do the same thing, and they're saying Echo's the pick we'll do it with.
Yeah, and when you have these kind of drafts where you're packing so much engage, so much backline threat, there's a high chance if you have a good early game that you just snowball completely and you can just keep forcing on the other team. It is not what I fully expected from Vitality. I thought we were going to get different picks down in the bottom lane, but they've gone for what is considered very strong right now, of course, with Kai'Sa, Alistar. The Nocturne and the Echo, they are kind of the two picks that could be a little bit surprising, especially Echo specifically. I want to see if Jizuke on this champion can do what he used to do and actually take down a Syndra.
Jizuke on the Echo. We'll see if he can put those carry pants on and bring Europe up to a 2-0 day against Korea on day one of main stage groups here at Worlds. It's the last game of the day. GENG coming out of the blue corner, your reigning world champions, going up against Vitality in the red. Their first appearance at Worlds. Tough opponent to start things off with, but hey, you pick up a win here. It definitely says something about this young, hungry, ferocious roster trying to make their mark as Ruler finds the very tip of the volley there onto Attila.
And we're going to hear this a lot, you know, the young Vitality roster. I think it is important to highlight that it is a mix, however, of veterans and young players. Jizuke, Attila, and Jack Troll are all rookies coming into 2018. They came from Giants when they qualified into the LCS and then swapped over to Vitality. Kikis and Caboshot, however, if you don't follow European LCS too much, these guys are veterans. They've been here for many, many years. Kikis was a pro, or tried to be a pro player in 2010 already, and was part of like WCG. Caboshot has been in the EULCS since 2014 when he was subbing in for Gambit and then became the starting top laner later. So these guys have been here for a long, long time.
And meanwhile, on the other side, GENG are the first team ever to defend their crown with the same entire roster. The same 6 men are there. Haru starts, Ambition on the bench. They are a team that has not found regular season success, but World Championship play has always been when they have been dominant. They are back-to-back finalists. They are reigning champions, and they're definitely causing a lot of pressure, but Ruler had to flash.
That was a super early flash. There's not even a combo available for the Alistar, and it looks like the game has been paused.
Yeah, Alistar's only level 1.
Yeah.
You definitely don't need to be too scared of a headbutt, even if you get hit by the wall right after. Early pause here.
It looks like the pause is due to a keyboard issue. They're investigating that right now. We'll figure out exactly what's going on and hopefully get back into games sooner than later. But yeah, GENG coming back. You were talking about this team and how things aren't always all sugar and rainbows for these guys. It's not like being the reigning world champion means, oh yeah, we're just going to cruise all over everybody, steamroll everything, come in first seed, wipe everybody out. They are the 3rd seed from Korea this time around.
It's the surreal thing about GENG, former Samsung Galaxy. They were KSV actually in the spring season, so a couple of name changes. Still they are the
Only a
defending
couple.
world champions, and still there is that bizarre scenario where when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to regional play, they've never even finished 3rd, let alone make the semi-final. They've always been struggling far away, but the Worlds buff, which is usually kind of just a mysticism you throw out there when you don't really know what's going on, we can't really explain how players like Cuvée can just be on the tanks in the regular season, out of nowhere, be dominant threats when the Worlds is on the line.
The keyboard issue was with Jack Troll. It has been resolved. We're back into the game now, but remember, that was a very, very, very early flash from Ruler. Not normally what you expect, but it's Summoner Spell down now with a 5-minute cooldown. That means it'll be about 7 minutes before that's up again. As Jizuke down to 300 HP here in the mid lane. Crown gets a couple more autos.
Luckily for Ruler, we are waiting for Kikis level 6 before we expect him to do a whole lot, but
yeah.
I want to quickly go back to the story of GENG here in the summer split in the LCK. When the gauntlet started and the first match, the wildcard match, the BO3, they had to play against the Africa. When you listen to you, Papa Smithy and Valdez, talking about how, well, they were favorites coming into the game, but they got 2-0. They looked abysmal in that series, and it was like, okay, these guys are not even going to make Worlds. But then in the gauntlet run, how they managed to pick it up when it really matters. Crown re-enters with the lineup and actually plays really well. That was a big deal for the team.
I mean, Crown played the dominant amount of games of his entire summer season in the actual regional gauntlet. He played 3 games in the regular season with Fly, who was over in North America in spring, coming over to GENG and playing in summer. It's his combination with Haru where I feel like GENG actually get the big value out of Crown. As a duo, they were so impressive a year and a half ago in spring season of 2017. As a duo, in a meta where Ambition doesn't fit, Haru comes in, and to me, he was the big star of their rise as Ambition struggled to make the meta picks work for him.
And speaking of them as a duo, it's not just Crown that played most of his games recently, it's Haru as well that played almost all his games so far in the Gauntlet. This guy has been getting more of that recent experience. Like you said, the shift in the meta away from the Ambition champion pool, away from the Trundle and the Sejuani that he likes to play so much, is much more suited to what they want to do here with Haru. On this Gragas so far, hasn't found anything just yet. Will make his way into mid lane there to grab level 4 off of that minion and help Crown shut things out.
So far, nice start for Vitality's bottom lane, obviously forcing the flash, or Rula kind of forced his own flash in that little trade. Jizuke, he's playing 1v2 right now, playing very aggressive, knowing Crown has no mana. But he wants to get his level 6, then he's fine. Same thing in the bottom lane with the Kai'Sa, and you can start setting up plays with Alistar, Kai'Sa together. The fact they're not getting shoved in by Tahm Kench, Ashe in the early game is great for Vitality. And now Kikis can just farm for level 6. He doesn't need to do anything before that.
Bottom side, Vitality will push in their opponents. Kikis hanging around down here, but early turret dive, especially with Haru
Haru's
close, is not the best idea. Kikis forced to retreat now as GENG will threaten the collapse and get the flash for free.
And that's just extremely unnecessary by Kikis right here. Like, his own trucks are alive, and they don't need help bot lane right now against a no-flash Ashe. But he wanted to go forward, did not expect Gragas to walk around, and the moment the Gragas showed up, the wave had already pushed back, and he got collapsed on.
And the theory from Kikis is that most junglers who go for the Predator will go for a back before they buy boots and then take the Krugs. I think he was playing around expected pathing. It was actually Gragas with no shop, just walking to the bot side and taking his Krugs, going for a full clear. That seemed to surprise him, but like I agree with you, the best you come away with is a Krug steal. It didn't necessarily feel worth it.
Bottom side, Jack Troll wants to go in here. Ruler gobbled up. That's just what we were talking about. That's why you draft Tahm Kench with these immobile 80 carries. Keep him safe.
I just want to highlight that Howard just recalled.
He can't even use Predator.
He didn't buy boots.
No.
Yep, that's a no Keystone Gragas. Don't have a shoe.
That's probably the
no
first
Predator
time
for
I've
you.
ever seen that.
Yeah, that's kind of strange. He really wanted that book.
It's Ambition style. He wants to farm the jungle farm.
Sure. I mean, screw your Keystone, I guess.
You've got a book. Who needs a Keystone when you've got a book? Let's... Elementary school teachers would be happy with the emphasis on reading, but Crown takes a lot of damage there with Jizuke now going aggro still here on the Echo, has the Chrono Break available.
Exactly. Now he's super safe because when he goes in against Crown, if Crown wants to unleash his ulti towards him, Jizuke can just ult himself and he will never die 1v1, and that is the key thing for him. Top lane, Cube is of course pushing in and winning against Caboshot, but that's an Ornn. His entire job is to take a beating and then land some good ultis.
Haru in the mid lane, looking to find the gank here onto Jizuke, who goes into the Chrono Break, looking to make some kind of an outplay here. Instead, just going to be bursted, flashes over the wall, and Crown says, see you later. First blood over to GENG, as Vitality put their attention in the Ocean Drake. Needs a little bit more damage. Void Seeker will do just that. Haru tries to throw out the cast. Nice spell shield coming out from Kikis, but it will not be enough as Core JJ uses Ignite to secure the kill. Jack Troll now tries to get away, but a swift tongue from Core JJ is going to keep him slowed down. A little bit more might be enough to take him out. Haru goes forward with the body slam, and there's the lick for the third kill.
Now that is a hungry Tahm Kench. Core JJ with the double kill. So much to talk about because the play is so extended. When we get the replay, we can comment specifically on how Crown played that. The key to dealing with the Echo is you have to ult early, otherwise it's just going to negate all the damage. Jizuke cancels out the damage from the ultimate, but it puts him so close to Crown's turret.
And Jizuke was so aggro there.
Well, the thing is, he obviously knew that if he tries to just run out, Haru could still try and get him, but that might still be the better play to try and flash towards your turret here. What happens, however, is this is kind of Vitality drafting a lot, or actually scaling. Like a jungler wants to farm for 6, a bot lane that doesn't really want to fight early, and then they try to take the Ocean Drake. And with the mid laner dying, this just backfires completely.
And the back end of that Acer Predator replay really shows off how well GENG was able to clean up everything. Even though they lose the Drake, they punish Vitality, and they come out way ahead in terms of kills and gold.
But I mean, you just look at it on very simple terms. the mid laner pushes up and looks to pressure a melee champion while they're taking a Drake. They're trying to do too many things, and that's why they face the ultimate punishment. Jack Troll wants to Hex Flash over when he's so a minion wave here, but he really wants to go in.
Vitality just does not know the meaning of pumping the brakes. It's
Here
time to go! Over the wall he goes. Headbutt, can't find the pulverize. Dive goes in anyway. Kick is with the CC, and the damage comes through for Jizuke. Now can Core JJ find one in retaliation? The tongue into the stun, into the spit, and they've got the kill. Core JJ goes in a killing
Battle
spree.
catch once more!
Jizuke tries to get himself away, but that hungry catfish frog, whatever he is not going to allow it today. Cuvee comes around from the side, chrono break right back underneath the turret. Jizuke's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He can't get away, and the kill credit goes to Cuvee.
So Vitality, whenever they fall behind, they just keep forcing plays. That's their way back into the game here. They're not being really late with this setup, so Core JJ reads the situation and gets the ulti into mid lane, even through the Nocturne ult itself, and that's why he shows up and gets a bunch of kills in return, and actually blocks Jizuke as well from getting out.
Oh, JJ has to sully his name with an assist, though. No 4-0 and 0 from the support role. Jizuke, he's just buying time. There's no way to get out of this play. He doesn't have flash. His ult's not going to be enough to work through. Nice little ult there, actually, that make him take turret aggro. It's going to be academic, but for once, he shows restraint and gives the kill over to Cuvee.
And this is where we very quickly get the, we call Vitality the boom or bust team. We're definitely getting the bust right now.
I think we're getting some chaos style here at the Fischio.
They are trying to play aggressive, but they don't always have enough damage this early in the game with their draft. And here with Core JJ kind of reading the situation, it just stopped Vitality from getting a free kill mid. And it's looking pretty rough all of a sudden with 5 kills for GENG.
And look at Jack Troll's items. He's got mobility boots already. He wants to roam around more on the Alistar, try to set things up with the jungler and the mid laner. The bottom side of the map, Ruler still falling behind a little bit in terms of farm versus Attila, which is a good sign there for the side of Vitality. As Crown over the wall, thinks about maybe doing something here. Has the orbs ready to go. Throws one over the wall, finds the stun. Looks for a little bit more damage. Electrocute goes off the arrow. So well placed. GENG, what a shot.
That was so beautifully put together over time. As the play started, Crown is putting down spheres at his foot, so he has the spheres there for ultimate damage. Everything connects, and Kikis goes to the death chamber, not knowing for how easy and how straightforward that was for GENG.
That was exactly what you want to see out of your Ashe pick, as now topside, Cabashard summons the Ornn Horn to put some damage and some CC there onto Cuvee, who has the Ghost used from Summoner's Spellbook. As back into the mid lane, it's business as usual with Jizuke on aggro against Crown, recognizing the fact that Syndra ultimate is not available. He knows he can go in for some of those aggressive plays, but Haru is hanging around nearby, walks over the control ward, so Jizuke knows he's near.
Oh, Kikis gets spotted right there. This Ashe pick, so much control on the map from Ruler. You're now 0-2 as your Nocturne. Your first ulti got you an assist, but then you died. You then died after in the river. This next ulti, it needs to work, because Nocturne is one of the junglers where if he falls behind, he really offers very little.
He's just a squishy missile that goes in and tries to assassinate, but if you don't have the money to assassinate, you just kind of turn into a feed wagon. And the problem is, even though you pick the Nocturne, seeing the Ashe, saying, okay, immobile 80 carry, let's assassinate him, let's get this guy, this is the counter pick. Ashe also has the ability to counter the Nocturne by spotting him out with those well-placed hawk shots, shutting down the ability that he has to work around wards and find those long-range engages with the ganks.
Camp respawn time is just so long that just knowing which camps are up or down gives you a very good idea which map quadrant the Nocturne is, and even his ability to lane gank isn't going to be as reliable if you know which side the map he's on. The funny thing about the draft is they doubled down, took Syndra, and you think Jizuke in a side lane pushing turrets, and then the threat of so much long-range engage onto Syndra and Ashe in a more even game could actually be a very reliable 4-1 win condition for Vitality.
Yeah.
They've kind of been the architects of their own demise by giving away all this gold from, I guess you would call it, undisciplined play.
I mean, I think that's very fair to say, and it's kind of the idea around the draft with the Echo and Nocturne, and what we're actually seeing now is something we only got to see at the end of the summer split in the third place game against Misfits, the one that gave Vitality that second seed, so they went to Worlds, where they started to go back to playing around Jizuke. For all of summer split, apart from that series, it was Jizuke and roaming champions. It was Jizuke just constantly pushing lane and roaming either top or bot lane, trying to make plays happen. but he returned to the carry style, which he's trying to do now with the Echo pick, and that's why Kikis is around his lane. But it's also stopping Kikis from playing his style, which is invade. Get the enemy jungler to sit without any camps on the map and get full control. You can't really do that with the Nocturne, especially not when behind. So it's a shift in style from Vitality, and so far in this game, while they are farming very well, they've given over too many kills.
I mean, we saw the one invade from Kikis at level 3 or 4 towards the Krugs that just cost him his own flash. That plan that Vitality likes to rely on has not come to fruition here so far in this game. They're down 1-6. They do have the Ocean Drake, but honestly, that's about it. Kikis will look for the engage here on the top side with the ultimate. A TP is going to be used as well to make sure they can try and secure this one. The damage comes in. Attila's there just to make sure that Cabashard grabs the kill.
And that's kind of the best play for them here because they know bot lane they will lose the turret. Also with Crown constantly roaming down. So they're just going to swap the map around and they get something for Attila.
I mean, if you rewind to the previous game where I said, what about getting rid of the Kai'Sa out of a difficult laning phase and attacking the Shen? It's actually Vitality in this game that understand the control wards are down. The mid is rotating. They cannot stay bot lane. They have to vacate it one way. Why not vacate it with a kill, a turret, and maybe a Rift Herald of your own?
Let's see if Tahm Kench ulti will be used here to get in and try and stop the Rift Herald. Crown is hovering towards the side as well. Kojide is here now, but I think Vitality just have enough time to kill it and get out.
There we go. Eyeball picked up. Nobody's going to forget about that one today. Cask is going to knock Jizuke back. Chrono Break available, but his shadow's still away. Comes back right towards Core JJ. Needs a little bit more to find any sort of a stun or devour. And Jizuke gets out.
At this time, he holds the ulti in a more defensive position because he's just running further and further away from the shadow so he can jump back towards the turret. In the end, that was 2 ultis used. Actually 3 with also the Gragas ulti being blown. Nothing here from Jizuke other than his own ulti.
Sort of champion that can make you look silly, that forces uneven trades of cooldowns. Is that Echo? He continues to push, so you have to say, against the run of play, really nice overall play from Vitality. A kill, a turret, also taking away their weakness of the bot lane that was likely to be dived, and even gained the Rift Herald as well.
He's got the Proto Belt also completed on the Echo there for additional wave clear. Also extra burst potential on a champion whose burst is honestly not that front-loaded with what's built into the kit itself. Ruler makes his way topside to answer the rotation there from Vitality as both supports will also be hanging around.
Yeah, and we're not at the point yet in the game where Jizuke really can carry. It's actually when he goes to the side lane later and Crown cannot follow. But they're still trying to get more kills around his lane. You can see how Cabashard and Kikis were both hovering around mid. Meanwhile, Attila's been farming extremely well. He has Rage Break completed. The problem is just Core JJ is on 4 kills. And he can go wherever he wants.
That's Tahm Kench. He's going to run everybody down.
It's going to be enough to get him an early 6 convergence and help Ruler's damage going, but it's a map play here from GENG.
Crown's very low on mana. You can't have a super extended fight here immediately. The blue buff will keep that pool very high, giving him a little bit of time to build that up. But Vitality recognized the fact that he can't fire off that combo right now, so they'll be just fine clearing things out. Now they're deciding to go in. Tahm Kench keeping that AD carry protected yet again. He'll pay for it with his own life, most likely. Thick Skin coming in just in time. Core JJ gets himself back over the wall, but Jizuke pulls his card anyway. Crown's going to be going into stasis now. Still might be in some trouble. Attila going to be taken down. Crown with the damage on that one. Cube grabbing the kill onto Jack Troll into the follow-up fear. And GENG is destroying Vitality. Jizuke tries to run, but he's running the wrong way into enemy territory. Does get out.
And what's very interesting here is a lot of teams, when they see a 5-man group mid, if they have wave clear, they won't move mid themselves to look for a fight. They'll just push out the side lanes and say, thank you very much, we take this farm. But Vitality instantly moved towards mid, said, we just need a fight. One combo from Jacktroll, and it's on.
But usually, you dump so much damage into a Tahm Kench, you take him down a lot earlier. This Tahm Kench uniquely has so much gold. Even though this timing from Vitality is very fortuitous, they cannot kill the Tahm Kench for so long as the extra resources like Jizuke having to flash over and spend so much time that Ruler, who has no feel in frontline anymore, is able to just move topside and Cube does the rest.
Yeah, I really also like the flash there from Crown, buying a bit more time for himself to deal damage. But one thing I want to highlight, while it is a 3-for-2 trade in favor of GENG, Jizuke got the shutdown kill on Core JJ, who had 4 kills already. That's a ton of gold coming for the Echo.
Shelly coming in the mid lane here, trying to take down that tier 1 turret. Won't quite get it. Also want to point out that in that fight, Ruler healed just as Core JJ was down to some 10 HP sliver of health. and kept him alive enough to pop the thick skin so he could get away there. Good job from him. Looking out for the support, not being selfish with the summoner spells.
If Tahm Kench dies there, then Jizuke doesn't have to use any more resources to kill Tahm Kench and can turn on Ruler oh so much quicker. So I think Captain Flowers, that was actually very, very relevant in GENG actually winning the kill trade.
Now topside, Jizuke on the Echo, continuing to build up the damage. Sheen in the inventory means Lich Bane, a second big item here, means that much more front-loaded burst. Again, Echo's burst is delayed. The Chrono Break does so much damage, but it's so hard to hit. You also only have the damage from the Q and the E. W does no damage itself. You've got to put these extra tools in there, and once he gets them, man, he hurts.
Yeah, I mean, you start building around getting multiple auto attacks off, you know, proccing the passive and actually getting some bonus damage from that as well. But I think we saw in the last team fight, GENG started without all the members there, and they still managed to get 3 kills. It shows that their composition is built to fight, and as long as they don't die to the initial engagement vitality, they have so much return damage from Ashe and the Syndra here. So it's all about just staying alive when the Nocturnal comes in, and so far GENG have shown in this game they're not scared of Vitality's aggressive plays.
But I actually am really concerned about where this game could go from a Vitality perspective, because you just think about your life as Ruler and Crown. Let's say your Summoner spell's down, you don't have Flash, or an ult comes out, the Paranoia is popped, you see Alistair. That's a lot to already factor in, and you know already that we're going to see Lich Bane Echo be pretty uncontested in the side lane. During all of that, if you get hit by the parallel convergence from a flank, that's another thing to consider. There's really so much threat that I feel like one of Crown and Ruler, if they get the drop on GENG, will die so quickly that might actually just tip the balance to the side of Vitality.
And with a composition that has a diving mid laner and a diving jungler, I really like Kai'Sa. Granted, I think she's the strongest AD carry in the game anyway, so she's always good, but it's time to dive, and GENG has lost their mid laner. Jack Stroll gets a 3-man knockup, and Vitality do not know how to stop just yet. Attila's gonna be taken low. Ruler misses the arrow. Vitality in retreat now. Cuvée on the front line, looking to find a kill, but Jizuke, the man with the plan, has the shutdown. Cuvée now in retreat, but he's gonna be dropped as well. Vitality find 4 for 1.
Crown, you have one job. Stay with your team when you're dealing with the Nocturne, but he was split from the group. Vitality find him. We keep saying this, but they never stop. They will always engage.
And this is where the plan comes together, Deficio. There's so many things to respect that it doesn't matter if your support has all the cooldowns in the comms or in the chat. Watch the replay here. Consider what they know and what they don't know. Crown is actually posturing forward, looking onto Jizuke, but there's so much guaranteed upfront burst that, like I mentioned, one carry is down instantly.
But the awesome thing about how this game is going to play out is we're going to get more and more of these engages, and GENG will also find ways to try and defend more, because Haru will actually stay. I don't know why Stopwatch there, but anyway, he will stay with his carries and can use his ulti defensively to again survive the all-in. But this time, we'll split up teams, Kikis and Vitality find the first kill. Jizuke is fed on this Echo, and we said early lane phase is not what it's all about with Echo. It's the late game where you cannot stop him in a side lane.
So what I'm learning so far, gentlemen, from day one of main stage groups, Europe needs to pick comfort picks, and they can go toe-to-toe with Korean teams. Because the Heimerdinger from Hjarnan with G2, and now the Echo from Jizuke with Vitality has been putting in work. These unorthodox picks, this different style, this is what makes them have to reevaluate the way they play the game. And now Cuvée needs to reevaluate what the hell he's doing here in this river. Gonna be on the defensive now, has to also be aware that he could fire off the ultimate, not give him the chance.
Please.
I'm pretty sure Jizuke has no idea how to not play League of Legends aggressively. This man is always on the hunt, and he gets himself away. Core JJ bringing up Maru, trying to chase him down, but he makes you look silly.
This is what he likes to do when he's ahead in the game. When he got into the spring split, we didn't know much about Jizuke. We knew he was the first professional Italian player, and that was it. He played Ryze, he got leads, he went side lanes, he 1v2'd Fnatic in side lanes against Caps, and he managed to get ahead and win games for his team as a split pusher. Now he's on the Echo, we keep highlighting the mobility, and he's doing it against the defending world champion.
And what I know about Echo is that if you see 4 members chasing him in a long lane, you cue the yakety sax music, you remember the synth rolls, because if you chase down the Echo, there's very, very little kill pressure on the side of GENG to actually cement that kill. And in the meantime, the Ornn whacks away on a turret, the gold continues to register. It's not a gold lead for Vitality, but they've already shown that if you walk alone on the side of GENG, something that Uzi never did in the previous game, you're going to be done pretty quick.
And Vitality has reached deep into their magic bag of tricks and pulled out some late-game options with this draft, remember. Deficio, you already mentioned how Echo is a late-game champion. He's going to shine more in the late game. Kai'Sa, this pick where we talked about how Vitality normally wants to play for the lane with the bottom lane. Instead, they have this super scaling pick that's onto 2 items with the AP build. They will be able to hold their own against GENG as this game extends forward with a dead even gold score.
Now, a very important item has just been picked up by Crown. We didn't get to talk a lot about what he should build next, but Hourglass is so key against the Nocturne composition from Vitality. Obviously, it's not enough to only survive when you have the Hourglass, but it's going to help you a lot because Tahm Kench can only devour the one target. GENG, it's all about surviving, and Vitality, they're looking for the next big fight.
Vitality need to just keep hungry, keep looking for that blood, and I'm sure that will not be a problem here for this squad. Cabochard on the top lane, 2-0 and 3 there on the Ornn, and you can see the gold difference over time coming in. GENG's lead is shrinking as Vitality is going in yet again. Jack Troll going into ulti mode here immediately. Gets himself out of the way in time. Cube's going to be taken very low. Kickers can't quite find the damage. CoreJJ now going to be the target as he loses his AD carry. Ruler's out of the picture, and that means Vitality can continue pressing forward.
Look at Crown.
Kickers goes into Resurrection with the Guardian Angel. Crown's coming around from the flank, but Vitality just go forward anyway. The weak will not be scattered, but Jack Troll's going to be picked up. Jizuke goes right back in. He has no concern for his own safety. The man goes back into the ulti, and he's got big damage. Cube having to get himself back away as the Vitality dive will continue forward. Kick is throwing the turret aggro, goes on a rampage to take down that enemy top laner, and God bless it, Vitality are taking GENG down in the bottom lane.
Man, when Vitality find the fights, they look so good. They're so confident. They don't care who they're playing against. They dive past the turrets. Syndra shows up behind them. They don't try and run away from the turret. No, they just turn around and try and kill the Syndra.
That's because there's only ever one threat involved. You might see 3-4 members, only ever one damage threat, and they can never puncture through.
Damn, Baron.
Everything there. You're right, Vitality turns onto them. They have a lot of Baron threat. Here we go.
Vitality has damage to take this down, but GENG is now trying to come to stop it. They don't have everybody here just yet. Jack Troll's going to be running interference. Arrow popped out, Paranoia to keep them blind. Cabochard's going to be the one to secure it. Kickus already dead, though. How many does Vitality lose for this? Attila forced to flash over the wall, Cabochard as well. That was almost a troll, but it didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. Summoner's Spellbook for Cabochard. Both Summoner spells expended, and he gets out.
He was able to smite it with the unsealed spellbook, I believe. But let's remember what happened bot lane. Again, attack Cube on this Urgot. They come in, they have the Ashe here. I was waiting to see when the W was used. Cube out of the fight early, and even with the stasis here, Ruler was out of position.
And then the call is not, let's run away. Let's get out of here. We got our kill. It's, wait, they're trying to fight us. We should just keep fighting. No one is dead yet on the side of Vitality because of the GA on to Kickis, and when Crown shows up to get the 1 kill, this is normally where teams will disengage.
4 beats 1, Deficio.
Suke's like jumping in at first, knowing his ulti is available, and this could have been such a huge ulti coming in, but I think the Devour just came in time.
Yup.
Still, he managed to take down CoreJJ. And I want to highlight something really, really important. One of the biggest problems for Vitality in Europe is taking Barons when it's a slow game.
Yes.
But when they get a fight first, into then an early Baron, they will just go for it. They will not hesitate, and that's exactly what just happened here. They have the Baron, they can get more turrets now.
8,000 damage in that last fight between the two big damage dealers on the side of Vitality. And this team that is making their first appearance at Worlds against the defending world champions is now 2,500 gold up with Baron on multiple members, pressuring onto the tier 2 turret here in the top side, looking to make something happen. Jizuke getting himself back before more damage comes in from the Syndra. But Vitality has to close things out cleanly. They have to use this Baron buff well. We talked about this team being all early, struggling in the late game if they don't have a massive lead. Cube's going to be in some trouble. Jizuke gets locked down, gets himself out using the Chrono Break, but Jack Troll onto the front line, going to be absorbing so much pain. Paranoia comes in, Tickets decides to go into the back line here as well. Still nobody going to be dead on Gen G. Pulled back into the grinder. Cube grabs the kill as GoreJJ is going to remain on the front line. Cube goes in, he's able to find Attila now too, and Vitality is destroyed in this fight.
And this time, they went too far, and they got punished. One by one, they jumped in. Kikis waited and thought he could execute Crown, but GoreJJ gets the Devour in, and this is always the problem against a team like Gen G.
Because they like to skip the steps to Fischio, and sometimes it works out big, but in this time, with a mostly melee comp and also the Kai'Sa, they think they can get some kills and just close the game from there. They're not able to do so. The dive doesn't work, and that's some important gold and some Barons taken away by Gen G.
I feel like I practically jinxed it. Right as I'm saying, this team that is only known for early game needs to have a competent macro game to close things out. It falls apart, they overextend, the fight goes the way of Gen G. Let's take another look.
So, Turret is still alive, Jizuke goes in, which then forces Jack Troll to follow as well. But notice when Jizuke jumps out, Jack Troll's now left alone. Attila's hitting a turret. No one else is following up until Kikis jumps in, and then the Devour is ready.
Let's consider a different fight where they take the turret and back away, and they gave up Jack Troll's life for the inner turret. Instead, they go further, say flash in from Cube, still very tanky despite the low health bar. They were able to pick up some kills, get back some momentum. They need to start clearing vision, though, and cementing a position on the map, because the next time it won't be under a turret necessarily, and maybe the next time Vitality can assassinate one of Crown or Ruler.
But a fight where one of your guys is fighting and you don't all pile in does not seem very indicative that this is Vitality. This is a team that we said likes to scrap, a team that's always looking to fight. And that fight just...
I mean, he was fighting a turret and the other ones were fighting...
I also want to point out 10-stack Medjai's Soul Stealer for Jizuke. He's on the Echo, he knows he has outplay potential, he knows he has escape potential, and he wants 25 stacks.
But we have to remember, when he's in the side lane, that's when he's actually strongest. Like, Team VIT, sure, you can do really well on Echo, but it is a lot harder to do it. In the side lane, that's why no one will stop you. The top lane tier 2 is still available, so they don't actually have to instantly run into the next 5 versus 5 Team VIT. They can just use Jizuke to get a turret first.
I mean, Echo does a pretty good Camille impression when he starts hitting the turrets in this game. Bamba power play was definitely shut down. The turret dive actually advantaged Gen G there. But it doesn't change the state of the game, because we said from the draft onwards, Syndra wants to take blue buff and clear with her friends. She does nothing in the 1v1 here, as you'll see.
Jizuke doing a masterful job predicting what Crown was up to and taking him down. Getting back out of the way of the arrow as well. There's 4 more stacks.
And we just said it, Jizuke in the side lane, that's what you're looking for as Vitality, but Crown, that was so greedy to just try and kill the wave. He realized very quickly he was going to get destroyed, and he didn't even use his item.
Yeah, Sonya's available, heal not available. Flash is now down as Vitality, with their Baron just expiring, allow Jizuke to take another turret uncontested.
And Gen G now stand 25 seconds until they have their mid laner back in this 4 versus 5 situation. Vitality playing the 1-3-1, or 1-1-3, I guess you would call it, with the 3 now in the bottom lane, having the Nocturne and the Echo, pressuring the other 2 areas of this base from Gen G. Jizuke takes down the tier 3 and top side.
And Crown just being greedy top lane and then not even using Hourglass just cost his team the inhib turret as well. He could have just stayed at the objective, waited for the minions, killed the minions, and then Jizuke wouldn't have actually taken him down.
And if you think about the games that Crown and Haru were playing that did propel Gen G to Worlds, Crown was largely on pure utility picks, the Lissandra. We were thinking this tournament, Lulu Karma, that's where he'd play. The famous story of the Syndra with Crown is a long one. In 2016, they had to ban it in Worlds because he couldn't play it. He played it very well in 2017, but it's not the utility pick so much, and the Echo has done everything. Zonians is never used, he's taken down, and Crown and Haru just haven't been able to replicate that gauntlet run today.
I just love the fact that he's got parallel convergence down there. He reads it like a book. He says, nope, there could be somebody in this brush. And once there is, he is ready to go in that situation. 6, 3, and 6 on the Echo. Still out farming his lane opponent. Stacks positive on the Magi Soul Stealer with a needlessly large rod in inventory to complete the final
14 stacks, 14 kills. I'm sure some viewers at home are loving that. Very, very nice there. Very, very secure in how this thing is going. And the death cap is there too for the AP numbers. You saw how he needed that extra ability in the last time he tried to assassinate. Doesn't need it anymore.
No, that is a full build Echo, if you count Magi Soul Stealer as a full item. That is a full build Echo for Jizuke in the site of Vitality at 33 minutes. 616 AP.
And it looks like we're going to get a big team fight around the Baron. This could be the final one for Vitality. If they actually win that fight, they can run straight down and destroy the base in just a matter of seconds. But GENG winning a late game fight is all they need to just make sure the game keeps going.
And I want to draw your attention that GENG is winning in one area of the map. They have control wards aplenty around the Baron, 4 in the area, I believe, to try to ensure where this is going to be the field of battle. It has to be around here. Scuttle control for now on the side of Vitality, and GENG certainly are going to start it with Ornn, the Nocturne able to fly in, but they have to control areas of the map because so far this game has been disarray that has suited Vitality.
And as we're talking about Vitality and how they've played this chaotic style so well, and they've got so much damage on their mid laner now, look across the board. Look at Ruler on the AD carry position for GENG. This is normally the guy that they're depending on to have the big carry performances. Look at his inventory. Hex Drinker, Guardian Angel. These are not massive DPS items, and it's going to be very hard to get through an Ornn and an Alistar if that's what you're supposed to do.
He might get a red buff, but I take your point especially. Only people he's hitting is going to be Ornn and the Nocturne, maybe Alistar. And Ornn is pretty damn healthy and has the armor. There's no Infinity Edge, there's no Last Whisper. We're a long way away from damage. This is the sort of build Ruler needed when it was a Vladimir bot lane meta. He just needed to survive. It's not going to help them if they actually get that 5v5.
Now Vitality get pushing all lanes. They can go in and kill all the control wards that were placed just before by GENG. Now it's Vitality having this setup near the Baron itself. And with the amount of engage on their side, if they start the objective and GENG have to start moving towards them, there's a high chance someone will split up and then Kikis can go for that one target.
Well, let's see if Vitality know how to play this right. You already pointed out their Baron control as a weakness of the team.
They just need to get the fight, and they have so many ways to start it, and they should be fine.
And they also have so much control on the side lanes from the fact that Jizuke doesn't need to be there when they start the control around the Baron. They can make this smart play and force GENG into a lose-lose situation with how they use Jizuke. He's coming back. He's been full build for a while now. Watching GENG just push through mid lane and try to recontrol Baron.
Worth pointing out, both top laners with their Summoner spellbooks don't have teleports right now. It's exhaust for both, and even the Ignite for Cuvee, making sure he brings maximum combat power into this next altercation as Jack Troll goes in. He's able to find the knock-up down onto Ruler, getting himself back now. Kikis drops Paranoia, but does not decide to dive in with it wisely.
They got the ulti of Core JJ right there, but Jaxxal had to use his as well. And the same thing for Kikis, so no Nocturne ult. He's not very useful in the next fight. They really need that big cooldown. And now it's GENG with control of mid, and therefore Baron.
They've got priority over the pit. They'll walk themselves back up here, look to sweep things out. They've set down control wards as well. Trying to maybe set up a trap brush here until it fires off the Void Seeker. Not going to find anyone there, as GENG will move into the pit, clear out any vision, and just keep it safe.
The good thing for Vitality is GENG have very poor Baron damage. They do it very, very slowly, so they don't have to make any fast moves, even if GENG have largely controlled the pit for the last couple of minutes.
But now we need to see if they actually start it, because Vitality have no vision around it.
TB?
They're actually coming in behind it. They expect
baby.
it to start it.
Nice arrow! And here is Jizuke, but he's got enough! He's killed before he's able to chrono break. That is huge for GENG.
Insane arrow right there. Perfect timing, and it's because Vitality have no vision at Baron, so they're TPing because they think it's being started. The Fed mid laner is dead.
The biggest threat on Vitality is out of the picture. They have to stop GENG here. Ruler Crown, both big damage threats on the side of the defending world champions. Alive and ready to go. Kikis behind the pit, wants to go for the steal. The caster trying to knock Attila away. Here comes Cabochard's ulti. Kikis still gonna be over the wall, pops the paranoia, thinking about going in. Cube getting himself back. Baron still at 3K. Cabochard goes into the pit. Jack Troll and Attila gonna be left alone. The fight comes down. Vitality has the Baron, but can they get themselves away? Flashing over the wall now to escape. Jack Troll will be the sacrifice. They'll take him down, but Baron goes the way of Vitality. 4v5.
GENG never wanted to finish that Baron, but it was double smite. Cabochard took it again, and they burst it out of a higher range than GENG respected. Attila's behind enemy lines. Hard to see him getting away.
Attila will try to waste as much of their time as he can, pushing up the minions here in the bottom lane, trying to make the outplay happen. Goes in Viz, but it's gonna be a few more seconds. Killer Instinct into Flash. It looks so damn cool, but it means so damn little. Attila taken down as the tongue comes out and the damage goes through.
And it's hard to blame him for trying to flash away right there after he made some nice jukes, but it means in the end, he had to blow the flash and he still died. CoreJJ flashed after him to finish him, but man, there's not a lot of teams who will go for these kind of plays, but Vitality 4 versus 5 are still doing it.
So watch the Baron health, 2900, not burst range. Cabochard has smite here for double smite level 18, level 16. GENG realized they have to actually contest this. They can't turn around. So it's smartly done by Vitality. They still have their summoners. They can still get out of the pit. There may be some consolation kills, but this was as perfect as possible. The 20,000 gold, 700 AP Echo was a non-factor, and they still don't claim the Baron, the GENG.
I just love the fact that we end day one of group stages with such an epic game between Vitality and the defending world champions GENG. We have seen so many aggressive plays. We've seen defensive moves from GENG to try and stay in the game. They've managed to win the last few team fights they needed to win to delay Vitality, and we're still at a situation where the team fights can honestly go both ways.
Want to point out, after that, after having 10 pages ripped out of his Soul Stealer, Jizuke has now sold the Medjai's, picked up a Banshee's Veil instead.
He doesn't want to get arrowed again.
So he's like, all right, that was stupid. We're not doing that again. Back
Rich
play.
people get all the breaks. They have their book, doesn't matter. I'll buy another one, even better than the first. He walks up. You gotta say though, Deficio, even though GENG have miraculously got to 40 minutes, didn't look like it would get that long, you still have Echo and Kai'Sa full build, and you look at the enemy threats with immobile threats versus mobile and potentially outscale threats like the Kai'Sa. If Vitality, they may not be as good as GENG in a late game fight. I think they got bigger guns to try to make one go.
Yeah, look at Ruler again. Has completed the Hexdrinker into Maw of Mount Mortius now, but that's also not a huge damage item. We have stored an inventory for the final item, so it's going to be more damage, but there's no armor penetration on this app.
Needs the Infinity Edge to at least have some semblance of a build, and also the Zeke's Convergence is so necessary. None available on Vitality. The one on CoreJJ needs to be on point.
You gotta remember, top inhib is open, but there's no TP on Jizuke right now. So it is a bit risky if he goes towards it while the rest of the team is sitting on the bottom side. But Vitality again trying to split up. Ash Arrow can be very effective against no QSS on the side of Vitality. Can Ruler actually hit it?
20 seconds left on this Baron. Vitality won't find too much with that one. They'll send Jizuke back into the top side, continuing to push up towards that exposed inhibitor as the rest of everyone falls back. Not too much more pushing to be done by this team. Yeah, you got Baron, but considering the consequence, rather the circumstance, I should say, of getting it and the consequences of picking that up, losing both your support and your AD carry right as you grab it, they didn't have as much time to work with as they would have liked, so GENG will continue to hold on to their base intact.
And a lot of the easy objectives for the Echo to Swift push are now down, so it's a lot harder to actually find a map state where you have your waves in the right position to set up for an objective like the Elder in 1 minute 30, and also be threatening with Jizuke. About another 40 seconds. So his teleport's on like maybe a minute now with the Nurse. We're just looking at Vitality's setup here for this Elder Dragon.
Small little thing that Kikis did there, he actually delayed killing the Rift Scuttler for as long as possible because he wanted to stay up for really, really long in case a fight breaks out around the Elder Dragon. We're gonna get a dance between the two teams. So he just wanted to get the maximum amount of uptime.
There's a lane ward here that spots GENG's positioning, very important for Nocturne. When he's choosing his opponent, poking around, if they can get the Banshee Veil from Crown, could be the go button for Vitality.
Remember, Crown does have that Hourglass, does have to remember to use it. We've seen that be a problem for him already this game in the top lane when Jizuke found the kill earlier. But Gen G feels like they've got enough control over the game right now to push forward. They feel safe, grouped up as 5. But Jizuke's hanging around behind these guys.
Don't know his position.
Ward gonna be revealed. Jizuke still getting himself away. Not too worried about it. Does have Banshee's Veil available. Remember, after that last pickup that Gen G got onto him, he doesn't want to be found out like that again as the dance continues.
But we know that Vitality have to go through so many things to actually kill the carries. Hourglass on Syndra, GA on Ashe, plus Tahm Kench to try and save one of them with Devour. There is a world where if you are Vitality, what you're actually doing with their Nocturne ulti and the Echoes, you're just zoning the backline while you're killing the front line with your Kai'Sa.
True hybrid Kai'Sa coming out, by the way. Infinity Edge with Nashor's Tooth, Ginsu's Rageblade, Mercurial Scimitar, Runeon's Hurricane, full build on this amazing late-game hyper carry. Vitality will melt health bars on Gen G.
Oh, he's TPing for the base!
TP coming in from Jizuke into top side, saying, all right, defend Elder, I'm going for the inhibitor.
Don't know if only one man can handle Jizuke, but Gen G still walking out on this Baron. Cuvée goes back.
This is where Gen G have to make the decisive call. Do you stay for Elder? Do you stop the inhib take? What is the decision here? Ruler stepping forward, going to draw the aggro from the Elder Drake. Top side, Jizuke is going to be stopped by Cuvée potentially, but the inhibitor's still taken down, and Jizuke gets himself away. It's 4v4 in this bottom part of the map. TP available for
TP
Cuvée to join in.
Attila, they're going to
now,
finish the
they're
game.
still looking to make things happen. It's Attila going into the base. Vitality has to buy time. That's the call. Cuvée has to try to defend this on his own. Jizuke will not be taken down. The shutdown goes through. Vitality's looking to end it. They're pushing Nexus turret number 2.
Let's
they
go,
can't
boys.
get back in time. Gen G is rushing to Nexus, but Vitality will take them down. Europe 2-0 against Korea.
That was an insane ending there, but you need to be decisive in the big moments, and the second teleport was actually having their cake and eating it too. Vitality, we said they could be the wild card in the group. They certainly live up to their name on the first time.
People ask me, Captain Flowers, how do I get good at League of Legends? And I tell them, follow your heart. Pick the Heimerdinger, pick the Echo, play your game. Forget the meta, forget what everybody else says to do, play your game. God bless it, that was amazing from Vitality.
And it's just this team, first game on the big stage, and they're not scared. They go for this play. First, it's just the Echo. They realize, hey, it's only Urgot back to defend. Attila TP's in. And fun fact, we actually saw this kind of play in the EOSS when Schalke did it. TP'd into the backline, into the base, killed the Nexus. Vitality, they saw that play. They're like, hey, we can do exactly the same.
And Vitality saw the same rumors about their performance in scrims, their struggles since they got over to Korea. And some people in their position end up just fighting for a participation medal. We made it to Worlds, we've done our work. They were not looking for participation. They are looking to make an impact. And their standing in this group reads 1-0. No one can take that away.
And when we looked at their day one games, and we said, okay, where could the potential upset really happen?
Yeah.
We looked at this game specifically. Gen G, not